Peppa Pig is a show old enough to get a driver's license and enlist in the army. With over 20 years of existence, the pink piglet has accumulated a ton of animation errors, secrets, and theories. But have you ever stopped to think about how many things in this show are so illogical, they're downright creepy? Take, for example, the undeniable fact that time doesn't pass in Peppa Pig's universe. As I said, the show has been around for over 20 years, and Peppa is still just 4 years old. Even so, we've had multiple Christmas episodes, multiple birthday episodes for several characters, and even though time theoretically passes, they all seem to be frozen in time. It's as if they continue to calculate the normal passage of time, in a place where time itself doesn't move. Maybe to avoid losing their minds or something like that. But it's not the same type of frozen time as in Rick and Morty, for instance, where only Rick, Morty, and Summer remain active while the rest of the world is literally frozen in the actions they were performing. In Peppa Pig, everyone experiences the same events. No one is stuck or unmoving. It must be a situation similar to the movie Interstellar, when they land on that planet near the black hole, where each hour there equals 7 years on Earth. So, perhaps time on Peppa's planet moves much more slowly, but they maintain traditions consistent with normal time. If your head is spinning after hearing this, get ready, because we're going to dive into more creepy and interesting things that happen in Peppa's world. Here, on Zigzag, all animal families live in houses, on top of large hills. You must have noticed that by now. The show's creators said they designed the houses that way because they were meant to look like drawings by young ones. They wanted to create the show from that perspective and thought it would be funny to put the houses on top of very steep hills. But not everyone has a house on a hill. The rabbit family lives in a burrow inside a hill. When the rabbit kids visit Peppa's house, little Richard Rabbit cries because he's afraid of the stairs. Rebecca Rabbit explains that they don't have stairs in their home. The next day, when Peppa and George go to the rabbit's house for a playdate, they are surprised to find that the rabbit family lives underground. They have to crawl through a dirt tunnel to get to their room, and apparently, all they can eat are carrots, which they claim to love. So, why is the rabbit family literally so poor? Is this town prejudiced against rabbits? That's kind of disturbing. One of the suspicions among internet fans is that the seemingly innocent joke about Mrs. Rabbit having every job in the world isn't so innocent after all. In fact, there's a theory suggesting a sinister motivation behind all of this. We learn throughout the series that whenever someone needs something and calls for assistance from any service, it's always Mrs. Rabbit who answers. Firefighter, pilot, librarian, you name it. Whatever you imagine, there's Mrs. Rabbit to help you. Or is it, there's a Mrs. Rabbit to help you? The theory suggests it's not the same person. The show always refers to these workers as Mrs. Rabbit. But what if they're different individuals posing as one? It would be like Peppa's version of what Pokemon does with Nurse Joy, where Joy is their last name, and they're all part of the same family, whose business is the medical profession. So, Rabbit would just be the last name of these rabbits, and Mrs. would be a respectful way to address them. But then, why isn't Mommy Rabbit called Mrs. too? She's called that precisely because she's the matriarch, the leader of the cult, responsible for continuing to reproduce and generate new generations of Mrs. Rabbits. And since we never see the men, it's likely they're locked up somewhere, serving the Mrs. Rabbits of the world. And that's why the rabbits live isolated from the rest of society, because they've become this weird cult that worships the matriarchs of the sect, almost like a secret society controlling the world from behind the scenes. If you think it's creepy to see the rabbits this way, then type your thoughts in the comments using the hashtag rabbits so we can know what you think. The best comment gets a heart from us. Have you heard the theory that Peppa has an evil twin? That's right. If you search Google Images for Peppa Pig wallpaper, you'll come across this official image from Hasbro, which is a poster of the series. At first glance, it looks like an innocent poster, but there's something really strange. If you stop to notice, there's a second Peppa Pig inside the house. We know it's impossible for someone to be in two places at once, and we also know Peppa doesn't have cloning powers or anything like that. So that pig in there can only be someone else. And the theory is that this is an evil twin sister. Think about it. How many times have you heard parents of kids who watch Peppa complain about the show? How many times have these adults said Peppa is rude, that she doesn't respect her parents, that she's mean to her brother and Susie? What if, during those moments, it wasn't Peppa, but this creepy twin sister? That would explain Peppa's drastic behavior changes. Since we know the show isn't like Bluey and doesn't touch on controversial topics. So, it wouldn't be about her having a mental disorder or anything like that. Since this twin sister, whom the internet has named Olivia, is stuck inside the house all the time, her social skills aren't great, and that would explain her bizarre behavior when interacting with others. One moment that strengthens the theory is when they want to play on Mommy Pig's computer, and at the end of each round, we see the scoreboard on the screen. If you look at the bottom, there's a really bad score at the base of the list, with the initials of someone mysterious. All the other scoreboard entries match up with a character. Check it out. GEO is George. Pep is Peppa. GNP is Granny Pig. GPP is Grandpa Pig. MMP is Mommy Pig. Susie is obviously Susie. But who could OP be? There's no other character with those initials in the series or even among the extended cast of characters. That's why the internet came up with the name Olivia Pig for this mysterious figure in the poster. And what's even funnier is that Olivia is a total noob at the game. Just look at the score difference between her and Susie, who's in last place. Or maybe she had just started playing because she thought she was alone, and someone entered the house, so she had to hide quickly, but not before leaving her mark. And you can leave your mark here on the channel. Just click the red button below and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Another dark thing we don't stop to think about in Peppa's world is how predators behave. Even though everyone acts as if they're human, there are still animal instincts in each of them, like the pig sounds the pig family makes, or Susie Sheep's bleating. Madame Gazelle gets startled when she sees Mr. Lion at the zoo. And the main one here is the instinct that seems almost like a prank from Mr. Wolf in the episode where Daddy Pig builds a house for the Wolf family. The irony already begins with Daddy Pig being an engineer and building a house for a wolf, right? And it only gets worse when Mr. Wolf arrives to see the house and, to test its sturdiness, reverts to his natural instincts and tries to blow the house down, just like in the Three Little Pigs fairy tale. Now, did he do this purely out of instinct, or was he messing around? The theory is that the Wolf family is secretly a pig hunting family, and they act this way to throw off suspicion about their malevolence. Could that be why we don't see other families from other animals? Tell us what you think in the comments, and let us know which dark theory from this episode was your favorite.